This is an auto-narrated audiobook by Google's computer-generated AI voices. Wolf's Jailbird. Book 2 in the Brides for Beasts Wolves series by Candace Ayers and Kim Dillon. Copyright 2023 by Lovestruck Romance, all rights reserved.
Chapter 1. The Honorable Judge Winston Baron Huggins III frowns down at me from behind the bench as I shuffle my platform-clad feet on the linoleum floor of the courtroom. All I can think about is the cell they're gonna shove me into, and the exorbitant fine I have no way of paying. Well, unless they accept payment in sarcasm and cigarette butts. My public defender, Bill, shoots me a withered look that says, "Girl, we both know you're screwed." Thanks for the vote of confidence, Bill. Good old Bill's been my attorney before. Unfortunately. The guy couldn't defend a jelly donut. But hey, you get what you pay for. Judge Winnie Bear Hugs, as I refer to him in my mind, squints at me over his half-glasses, then goes back to scanning the papers in front of him.
Eugenia Sparks. Charged with prostitution.
He lets out a long sigh.
Back in my courtroom again, Eugenia.
Yes, Your Honor. But most people call me Genie. You know, like the kind that pops out of the bottle. Only I grant wishes of a different kind, and my magic carpet is waxed and neatly trimmed. I hear a few snickers from the peanut gallery behind me, but the judge isn't laughing. I guess courtroom humor isn't a thing in real life like it is in sitcoms.
Ms. Sparks, this isn't your first rodeo.
He continues, obviously displeased. I flash a fake smile. Technically it's my sixth, but who's counting? The judge massages the bridge of his nose, as though my mere presence gives him a tension headache. Poor guy.
Let's just get this over with. How does the defendant plead?
I open my mouth, but Bill jumps in.
Your Honor, my client pleads no contest.
I close my mouth. I mean, sure. No contest. Whatever. Not the first time I've been slapped with this charge, and certainly won't be the last. The judge gives a solemn nod as he reviews my file. His bushy brows inch higher and higher. Yeah, it's a thick one. I'm an overachiever that way. With a heavy sigh, he closes the file and looks down at me over his half-glasses.
Ms. Sparks, despite previous leniency from this court, you continue to engage in unlawful acts. At this point, I'm inclined to sentence you to 6 months in jail and a fine of $1,000.
Damn, he makes me sound sinister when I'm just trying to keep my head above water in a world that continually tries to beat me up and drag me under. My pimp Darnell is gonna be so pleased that I'm out of commission. Again. Who's he gonna get to work the 3 a.m. shift now? My belongings will disappear, probably get snatched up by the skeevy neighbors or tossed out on the street by the landlord. I can already feel all my worldly possessions, my sleazy work attire, threadbare furniture, and the almost matching set of thrift store china and cutlery, slipping through my fingers. I'll have to start from scratch when I get out of lockup. I'm a pro at starting over. The foster care system taught me that. From the moment I was old enough to spell DCF, Department of Children and Families, for those lucky enough not to know, I was carted from one foster home to another, each more charming than the last. Until I aged out and was kicked to the curb without so much as a goodbye and good luck out there. Just as I'm about to tell Judge Winnie Bear Hugs that I like to think of myself as a self-employed entrepreneur providing helpful stress relief services, I notice a guy in a way too expensive for this courtroom suit approach the prosecutor. They exchange some secretive words, and a moment later, the prosecutor turns to the judge.
Your Honor, may we request a brief recess to discuss a development in the case?
Ooh, a development. Maybe they found out I'm actually a long-lost princess, heir to an obscure but filthy rich tiny European country. Hey, a girl can dream, right? The judge agrees, bangs his gavel, and my destiny gets placed on pause. As the prosecutor huddles with Mr. Expensive Suit, I can't help but wonder what kind of deal they're cooking up. Community service at a nunnery? Public shaming in the town square? Maybe they'll slap an ankle monitor on me that beeps whenever I near a red light district. Damn, I won't be able to go anywhere in Hollywood. Bill squeezes my shoulder apologetically.
Well, jail's not ideal. But you can look at it as a chance to pay your debt to society. And once you're released, you'll have the opportunity to turn over a new leaf.
I stare at him blankly. Has he met me? You should have been a life coach, Bill. You missed your calling. Mr. Fancy Suit peels away from the prosecution huddle and starts toward me. It's hard to read his expression, but he definitely doesn't look like someone getting ready to deliver bad news. Or good news. Actually, he doesn't look like he's capable of showing any emotion at all on that handsome face of his. He stops in front of me, sizing me up.
Eugenia Sparks. My name is Aldous Von Drago. I have an offer that may interest you.
Call me a cynic, but I'm about to wave him off until he says,
How would you like to avoid jail time, fines, and help a marginalized community?
Okay, he's got my attention. Is this the part where you offer me a deal I can't refuse, Godfather style? He leans in a bit, lowering his voice.
I'm offering you a get-out-of-jail-free card and a hefty sum of money in your bank account to sweeten the deal.
Explain, I say. But if I'm honest, Aldous Von Drago had me at money. He leans in, his voice dropping to a confidential whisper.
We're offering a chance for you to join a new initiative called the BFB program. You'll be contracted to help our community in a small mountain town called Timbercrest Village continue its lineage.
I arch an eyebrow. Continue how? The judge returns, killing our conversation when he clears his throat.
All right, Ms. Sparks. I'm willing to waive the 6-month jail sentence and the $1,000 fine in lieu of your participation in the BFB program, since it may very well offer you the fresh start this court believes you so direly need. However, I'm going to leave the choice up to you. What's your decision?
Fresh start, huh? The words tickle a tiny, nearly extinct part of me that still holds a sliver of that 4-letter word, hope. Damn. I thought all traces of hope dried up and blew away before I turned 10 years old and learned the hard way that the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. But the county lockup sucks. Maybe I should give this new devil a chance. Von Drago looks at me expectantly. So, what's it gonna be, Genie? The wild unknown or back in the bottle? You know what? If BFB stands for Bye Felicia, bye to jail time, and to my old life, and Darnell the prick, I'm ready to click these god-awful platform heels and say, there's no place like Timbercrest Village. So, I give my answer. I'll go with this BFB thingy. A few minutes later, the judge bangs his gavel, sealing my fate when he says,
Court is adjourned.
God, I hope I chose wisely.
Chapter 2. I pour another of my craft beers for Tavion and slide it down the bar into my friend's waiting hands. Then I pour one for Asa and one for myself. Hey, I need to sample my own brew.
Seriously, her skin is like satin.
Asa, our huge mean-as-fuck pack enforcer, has a dreamy look in his eyes. I swear he looks like a middle-aged woman reading a bodice ripper right now.
I can't keep my hands off her.
Tavion and I exchange looks as Asa launches into yet another soliloquy about how perfect his mate is. Asa just found his fated mate, and he won't stop yapping about her. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy for the guy, and Marla is cool. In fact, Tavion tried to challenge Asa for her even though she wore Asa's claiming mark, but listening to him go on and on about domestic bliss is seriously making me want to retch.
Yeah, we get it.
Tavion rolls his eyes.
She's an angel fallen from the heavens above.
I chuckle into my beer. Asa glares at us.
Wait. Smell that?
Asa leans in, sniffing the air dramatically.
Ah yes, the scent of envy.
True that.
Tavion sighs, taking a sip from his own mug.
You roll your eyes now, but just you wait.
Asa says, pointing a finger at us.
Once you have a woman from the BFB program, you'll be going on and on about her too. Mark my words.
He's referring to the new Breeders for Beasts initiative the council launched to bring human women into our shifter town to help repopulate our dwindling numbers. Turns out, no female pups being born in the pack for 40 years puts a real kink in the growth of the population. BFB is the council's flagship remedy.
It's not like we're going to find mates,
Tavion says casually, though I detect a hint of longing in his voice.
They're just here to act as breeders, and then they go back to wherever they came from.
BFB is an opportunity for us to become fathers. That's really what the whole thing is about, securing the future of our pack with the next generation. But the truth is, we're both chomping at the bit for the chance to finally experience what Asa and the older mated wolves have. A woman to call our own, to hold and protect, and if the moon goddess allows it, to love. Asa snorts.
You never know. It's possible one of the women might be your fated mate.
Highly unlikely. I scowl into my beer. They're strangers from a different world. For all we know, we'll be completely incompatible. When the council first presented the BFB solution, most of us guys grumbled about the women having the option to walk away after the baby was born. The old farts in the council didn't care. Beggars can't be choosers, they said. Not when our species is teetering on the brink of extinction. So like good little soldiers, we agreed to suck it up and do our duty, take whichever human female gets assigned to us, and try to get her pregnant within 6 months. Once she births a shifter pup, she's free to go back to the human world and collect a nice fat check from the council as thanks for her service. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hoping for more than just a clinical baby-making experience with my BFB breeder, though. My life is fine. I run the local tavern and make craft beer, but it gets lonely being without a female. I want a real connection, someone to laugh with and share my hopes and fears with. Someone to stand by my side through the good times and bad.
Tonight is the full moon, which means the first woman arrives today.
Asa informs us, as if we didn't already know. The whole village is excited about it.
You know the first breeder up for grabs is going to be assigned to Alpha. It's protocol.
Tavion leans in closer, waggling his eyebrows.
But after that, we draw straws.
Deke, our alpha, is the leader and most dominant wolf in the pack, so his pups stand the best chance of being alpha material and leaders themselves one day. Unless we want a challenge, I comment.
You do realize Deke would wipe the forest floor with either of you, right?
Asa says flatly. I think maybe we could take him. I flash a cocky grin. Maybe. Maybe if we teamed up and challenged him together, but probably not. In truth, even 2-on-1, Deke would crush us like beer cans. Asa shakes his head. Then his eyes narrow and he grows serious.
You're not actually thinking of challenging Deke, are you?
I look at Tavion, then back at Asa, then burst out laughing. Are you kidding me? The guy's biceps are the size of my head. He's got that warrior vibe down to an art form. What am I going to do? Challenge him to a game of Scrabble? Tavion smirks.
Triple word score on emasculate? Anyone?
Seriously though. I set my empty mug down. It would be nice to have what you have, Asa. Not just a breeding partner, or whatever they're calling it. An actual mate, you know? Someone I can spend more than an obligatory period with. Tavion nods, suddenly introspective.
I'm with you, man. I mean, it's a start, right? But the whole leaving after birthing a pup thing. Not cool. If I find my mate, I want her to stick around. And not just for the adorable rugrat we'd create.
Asa gazes at us both.
Who knows? When you get your turn, it might just be with someone who changes your whole world.
Tavion and I exchange skeptical yet hopeful glances. We notice Asa grow very still. He cocks his head listening for something. Then he grins.
I think the first candidate has arrived.
Chapter 3.
Chew it, dear.
Susan urges, pushing a handful of leaves toward me.
It'll increase your chances of conception.
Oh joy, I say, taking a bite and almost gagging on the bitterness. You sure this isn't just lawn clippings? Because it tastes like my last hookup, bitter and unpleasant. Ida laughs, and it's a throaty, genuine sound.
Oh, you're a sassy one. You'll fit right in here.
I'm sitting in a small windowless prep room that smells like lavender and incense. And these two older women are preparing me to be paraded in front of a pack of, get this, actual werewolves. Or shifters, I guess they call them. I always thought that stuff was only on TV and in movies, but apparently not. Besides Aldous von Drago, and I don't know for sure if he's even one of these shifter people, these women are the only two wolf shifters I've met. I would have thought they'd have names like Moonbeam or Lupita, not Susan and Ida. They're busying themselves around me like fairy godmothers, only instead of glass slippers I get an herbal boost your fertility salad. They're fluttering, primping and prodding like I'm their own personal Barbie doll. Apparently, it's super important that I look my best for tonight's fertility ceremony, where I'll officially be handed off to whichever wolf shifter I'm assigned to. Yay! When I signed up for this, it was simply to escape a bad situation. It sounded like a good idea. Come to a secluded town, let some wolfman knock me up, pop out a baby for cash, then peace out with a nice fat check. Easy peasy, no muss no fuss. Just another transaction. But now that I'm here about to be paired off with a furry stranger, my usual defense mechanism, cocky sarcasm, is fading fast. The grandmotherly shifter ladies seem nice enough, but they both have huge scars on their necks, both of them. In almost the same spot. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. So, I start, wiping my mouth with the back of my hand to remove any greenery residue. What's the deal with the werewolf thing? I mean, besides the obvious. You guys run in the woods, howl at the moon, that sort of thing? Ida smiles, twirling a lock of my hair around a curling iron.
Oh, we do a lot more than that. Our pack is like a big family and we look out for each other.
Susan holds up a dress for me. It's long, flowy, and if I were to guess, designed to make me look like a sacrificial offering. Or maybe a gauze-wrapped burrito. I can't help but notice, I say, eyeing Susan's neck, you both have matching scars. Ida touches the scar on her neck, a nostalgic look in her eyes.
Oh, these are claiming marks. When a shifter finds their fated mate, they mark them with a claiming bite. It's a deep bond, unbreakable and cherished.
Bite. Fated what?
In our culture,
Susan says, smiling as she helps me into the dress.
fated mates are matches made by the moon goddess herself. Fated wolf mate pairs know one another the moment they lay eyes on each other, or, for some, it happens when they scent each other.
Interesting, but I'm not here for that. I'm just an incubator. As I look in the mirror, watching Grandma 1 and Grandma 2 turn me into the newest contestant on Who Wants to Birth a Werewolf, I can't help but feel a swarm of doubts bubble up. Sure, I signed up for this willingly, but what have I actually gotten myself into? I signed a contract promising to let whichever male has the winning ticket bang me for 6 months or until conception, whichever comes first. No takebacks. I can handle that, but what if I get paired with some super old pervy creep? Or worse, a violent psycho? Someone who shouldn't be anywhere near a child. What then? Also, Von Drago explained the deal to me and told me to read the contract carefully, even the fine print, and I tried. I pretended to. But I'm not so good at reading. So I just signed it. I wonder if there was something ominous in the fine print. Too late for regrets now. The fertility ceremony starts in minutes. Time to put up or shut up.
Are you ready?
Susan asks, misting me with some floral perfume that probably masks my natural odor of desperation and questionable life choices. As I'll ever be, I say, rising from my chair. Ida must sense my nervousness because she pats my hand reassuringly.
Remember, chew the herb, smile, And for the love of the moon goddess, don't make any dog jokes.
I nod. Got it. Here goes nothing.
Chapter 4. The bonfire crackles and pops, sending flickering shadows dancing across the faces of everyone gathered for tonight's fertility bash, which is the entire Timbercrest pack. We wolf shifters make a ceremony out of everything. Matings, births, deaths, first pubic hair. You name it, we celebrate it. But this one, it's a big deal having a breeder assigned to our alpha. I'm standing toward the back of the crowd, trying to get a good view of the dais where Deke stands. Surprisingly, Deke looks about as happy as a cat at a dog show. You'd think he'd be thrilled about getting first dibs. But his jaw is so tight I'm expecting teeth to start popping out. Over the last 10 years, these fertility ceremonies have gotten fewer and farther between, since the youngest pack female is over 40 now. Tavion nudges my shoulder.
One step closer to our turn.
Any idea when the next breeder arrives? I ask.
Next full moon.
He nods.
Just in time for another fertility ceremony.
Makes sense. Fertility ceremonies are always held on a full moon.
I've been planning ways to woo my breeder and make her fall irresistibly in love with me.
Tavion grins. Good luck with that, I snicker. But I understand. I'm chomping at the bit too. Like Tavion, I hope I can win over whatever woman is assigned to me. I admit that might be a pipe dream given my history of romance, which mainly consists of, well, nothing. Drumming and chanting start up, signifying the ceremony is about to begin. Flames of the bonfire lick the night sky. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kinda excited. This program isn't ideal, but it's better than nothing. A life mate is my fantasy, but a woman who'd even just tolerate me for a few months will be thrilling too. Ida, our elderly head cook, and my grandmother Susan emerge from the communal lodge, escorting the first human breeder to the dais. I get a good look at her as she's led toward Deke. And the breath leaves my body in a whoosh. She's stunning, a petite little thing with dark hair, fierce eyes, and a tough-as-nails expression. But her fingers are trembling. It's almost imperceptible, but I see it. She's not as tough as she wants to appear. She's scared. My inner wolf whines, wanting desperately to comfort and soothe her. Everything inside me screams to go to her. But I can't. She's not mine. When she reaches Deke, her eyes dart around the crowd. When they land on me, it's like an electric current zaps through my entire body. Everything in me screams at me to go to her, whisk her away. But I'm rooted in place, frozen by protocol. Old Man Snagglefang takes her hand, and I know what's next. He's going to offer it to Deke, who will accept her small hand in his large one. No. My wolf snarls and thrashes inside me. But Deke makes no move to take her hand. In fact, Alpha looks like he'd rather be running naked through a briar patch than touch her right now. Without thinking, I begin elbowing my way through the crowd. When I'm a few feet from the dais, I take a big whiff. Holy shit. Pheromones dance the cha-cha in my brain. She's mine. She's my mate. My wolf perks up, practically shredding my insides trying to get to her, urging me to claim her. But challenging the alpha is no small thing. She glances my way again, that electric current humming between us once more. I can't let her go with him. I can't. I have only one choice. Challenge, I bellow, my voice ringing out over the crackling fire. The crowd is gasping like they've been sucker punched. Understandably. At 6'5", I'm no small guy. I've got a pretty muscular build and some decent fighting skills, but Deke looks like he's one flex away from ripping out of his shirt, Hulk style. This is gonna hurt. But I'll give it all I've got to win my mate. Ida chortles. Grandma Susan's eyes twinkle. The new gal, my mate, locks eyes with me and I feel a sizzle down to my toes. I'm not sure she's feeling the same though. There's a spark of something in her eyes. Curiosity. Interest. Or a wish that she stayed in her human city and swiped right a few more times.
Chapter 5. I feel like I've wandered into the freaking Twilight Zone here. One minute I'm about to be sacrificed to a bearded, slightly older guy. The next, this beefy hottie is bellowing challenge and staring at me like I'm a porterhouse steak. Gasps ripple through the crowd, but no one seems more shocked than the bearded dude on the platform with me. He looks between me and hottie and looks relieved. I'd be offended if I wasn't so drawn to hottie who's puffing out his chest like he's a silverback gorilla. Damn. That's panty melting right there, not gonna lie. He looks a little like Chris Hemsworth, only hotter. The guy on the platform with me shakes his head slowly like he can't believe this is happening. Then he just rubs his bearded jaw and says,
I forfeit.
I'm not real smart and I'm not sure what all that means, but I'm not entirely clueless either. I have an idea that these two are trading places, and I'll be warming Hottie's bed tonight. I'm not complaining. It must be a big deal though, because the crowd is dead quiet. Even the crickets seem stunned into silence. Over my shoulder, I see Susan and Ida practically giggling with delight. Then all hell breaks loose. The hottie grins at me like he just won the lottery. I guess an uncontested victory is pretty cool around here. Meanwhile, the crowd is cheering, patting him on the back and congratulating him. The big mountain man is grinning from ear to ear as he leaps onto the platform with me. He takes my hand gently in his. Whoa boy. Tingles shoot through me when his rough palm engulfs my hand. I've never felt anything like it before. His hand is huge. I have delicate hands, but his dwarfs mine completely. He leans down.
I'm Zeb. I know this must be strange for you. But I promise no harm will come to you. You're safe with me.
I almost scoff. That's what every creep with a bag of candy and a white van says to lure in their prey. But the way Zeb is gazing at me makes me think he actually means it, even if his eyes are glowing. Weird. When he says,
I'll comfort you, care for you, and protect you with my life.
His voice is a deep rumble I feel all the way to my core. The crowd resumes their odd chanting, and some old dude rattles a string of beads over us. I guess this is the fertility ritual. Super. When it ends, Zeb tucks my hand in the crook of his thickly muscled arm like this is the 1800s and I'm a genteel lady or something. Like I'm somebody special. I'm not sure how to react to that. Doesn't he know I'm just a street corner hooker? I'm not even one of those high-end call girls. No, I'm about as bargain basement as you can get. Maybe I should tell him that, but I'm sure he'll figure it out soon enough.
Let's go home,
He says softly. Home. Such a simple word, yet it's always felt foreign on my tongue. Probably because I've never had one. As Zeb leads me away from the bonfire and into the unknown, I can't help but wonder what's in store for me. I mean, if he starts sniffing me like a dog and wants to play fetch, well, hell, I'll do it. Lord knows I've done weirder things for money.
Chapter 6. Genie. My mate's name is Genie. It's the most beautiful name I've ever heard. I can hardly believe my luck. Not only is my fated mate here in Timbercrest village, I didn't even have to fight Deke for her. He forfeited. Forfeited. Alphas don't forfeit fights. Ever. To do so is a sign of weakness, but I'm not going to argue. As I lead my beautiful mate back to my cabin, she seems unsure of what to make of all this, but that's understandable. This whole situation must be so strange and new for her. I'll do everything I can to show her I am a worthy male. When we reach my front door, I remember it's a human custom for the male to carry his new bride over the threshold. Before she can protest, I sweep Genie up into my arms. She lets out a little gasp of surprise. Just following tradition, I explain as I step inside, cradling her petite frame against my chest. Her body fits perfectly against mine like two puzzle pieces, meant to be together. I set her down gently, and give her a quick tour of the cabin's main living area, kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. It's not fancy, but it's cozy and comfortable. I built it myself from the surrounding pine trees. Can I get you something to eat or drink? I ask, opening the fridge and staring at its contents. I've got steaks I can throw on the grill. I rifle through the fridge. Or I can whip up something lighter. An omelet. Or pasta maybe. She doesn't respond, so I turn to face her, but she's not there. Genie? I call out. Where did she disappear to so quickly?
In here,
Comes her muffled reply. I follow her voice down the short hallway to the bedroom. When I step inside, she's standing there in nothing but her undergarments. My mouth goes dry at the sight of so much smooth, creamy skin on display. My mate is an absolute vision.
How do you want it?
She asks bluntly. How do I want? What? She saunters toward me, hips swaying.
Let's just get down to business. No need to waste time, right?
Business. I repeat dumbly. I'm trying to show her I can provide for her and care for her. I'm trying to prove myself deserving of her because I want her for more than a breeder. I want her to desire me enough to stay with me even after our time is up. To be my lifelong mate. But with her wearing nothing but a bra and barely their panties, my brain feels like it's short-circuiting. I shake my head. She runs a finger down my chest.
Oh, I get it.
And then her voice takes on a high-pitched, childlike quality.
I'm a bad schoolgirl. I cut classes and now I'm in the principal's office, and I need to be punished for misbehaving.
She bends over the bed and wiggles her cute ass back and forth.
Are you going to spank me?
Spank her. The sight of her makes my dick hard, but I have no idea what's happening right now. Is this some odd human mating ritual I'm unfamiliar with? Why does she think she's in school? When I don't respond, she straightens and puts her hands on her hips.
Okay. Scratch that. How about this one? Mr. Johnson, I'll be your nurse tonight.
Her voice is a sultry purr as she runs a hand along my chest in an intimate way.
I'm at your beck and call all evening. Where should we start? How about a sponge bath?
She waggles her brows.
With my tongue?
My eyes are glued to her movements as I try to understand what she's doing. And who Mr. Johnson is. She sighs and drops her hand. Then she unbuckles my belt, slides it free from the loops, and cracks it loudly.
On your knees, slave. Suck my toes.
Slave. I stammer, still trying to wrap my head around what's going on. A jolt of understanding finally hits me. Of course. Now it makes sense. I've read about this human condition. My poor mate must suffer from dissociative identity disorder. She has multiple personalities, all vying for control. Oh, sweetheart, I say gently, cradling her face in my hands. I'm so sorry you're afflicted with this, but it doesn't matter to me. I'll love each and every one of your personalities just the same. Confusion clouds her eyes for a moment before she nods slowly.
Right. So which one did you like best?
None of that matters right now. Let me put you to bed. I sweep her into my arms and place her gently on the bed. You just get a good night's sleep. I tuck her under the covers and brush a soft kiss over her forehead. We'll talk more in the morning, once you're feeling back to your true self. She seems befuddled but doesn't argue. I'll be right here all night. I point to the chair next to the bed. Watching over you, in case you need anything during the night. As I turn off the bedside lamp and sit beside the bed, I feel confident we're off to a good start. She may have her afflictions, but I know without a doubt we're meant to be together. With patience and understanding, our bond will only grow stronger. I just need to take things slow and gentle. My inner wolf howls in agreement. We found our mate at long last. And we'll never let her go.
Chapter 7. I wake up confused. For a second, I think maybe I'm back in my grungy apartment, hungover from a long night. But as my eyes adjust to the morning light, I realize I'm definitely not in my shithole apartment. The events of the past week come flooding back. The courtroom. The deal to avoid jail by joining this BFB program. Coming to the strange shifter village and being paired off with Zeb. Speaking of Zeb, I realize with a start that he's sitting in a chair right next to the bed watching me. Guess chivalry isn't dead after all. Or maybe he's just weird. The jury's still out.
Good morning,
He says in that deep rumble of a voice. Morning. I sit up.
Did you sleep well?
I nod. The bed was crazy comfortable. Much better than the lumpy secondhand futon I'm used to.
Good. I'm going to make you breakfast. Towels are in the bathroom if you'd like to shower.
A shower sounds heavenly. The bathroom is small but clean. I turn the faucet as hot as it will go and step under the hard spray, letting it wash away the tension in my shoulders. As I lather up with the spice-scented soap, it strikes me how different this experience has been compared to what I'm used to. Zeb didn't immediately pounce on me or get handsy. He didn't do anything at all, except tuck me in and stand guard all night without expecting anything in return. I'm not sure what's up with that. I know he was turned on. I could feel his woody when he picked me up. I'm pretty sure the guy is packing. So what's the deal? I mean, he's the one who challenged another guy for me. I'm confused. What if he doesn't want me? Do I still get the money? I have no idea because I wasn't able to read the fine print. Something deep inside aches when I think of being rejected by Zeb. After my shower, I wrap myself in a plush towel, and when I emerge from the bathroom, my duffel bag is on the bed. I guess someone must have dropped it off last night. I throw on some jeans, a t-shirt, and clean underwear, then towel dry my hair, which wants to frizz up into a dark halo. Oh well. Not like I need to impress anyone here. I have a contract. When I enter the kitchen, mouth-watering aromas fill the air. Bacon sizzles on the stove while pancakes cook in the pan beside it. I can't remember the last time I had a home-cooked meal. Zeb looks up from the stove and smiles.
Are you hungry?
Starving. I sit at the small dining table while Zeb plates up pancakes, bacon, and scrambled eggs. He even adds a little vase with a wildflower as a centerpiece. It's cheesy but also really sweet. The food tastes as good as it smells. I close my eyes, savoring the fluffy pancakes and smoky bacon. This is amazing, I say around a mouthful. Zeb grins.
My gran taught me to cook when I was just a pup.
I pause mid-bite. A pup? You mean a kid?
Yes, same thing. Pups are what we call our young.
Ah, gotcha. I poke at my eggs. So, how does this whole wolf shifter thing work? Do you turn into an actual wolf? Zeb launches into an explanation about their ability to shift into wolf form at will. He tells me more about their pack hierarchy and rituals. My mind wanders as he talks. I'm still not totally clear on what he expects from me. I mean, I know the purpose I'm supposed to serve, get knocked up and pop out a kid. Pup, whatever. But the details are fuzzy. Well, now that we're both fed and refreshed, I slide my bare foot up his leg under the table. Want me to go slip into something more comfortable? Zeb furrows his brow.
You're uncomfortable.
No, I mean. I press my foot more firmly against his crotch. Something sexy. To get you in the mood. Understanding lights his eyes, and a blush creeps up his neck. He takes my foot and places it gently back on the floor.
There's no rush for that. We have plenty of time to get to know one another first.
But isn't that why I'm here? To get pregnant? Zeb rubs the back of his neck.
Well, yes. But
Now he looks uncomfortable.
I care about more than just that.
Maybe it's the earnestness in his voice or the sincerity in those puppy dog eyes, but I actually believe him. Still, this tender romantic stuff makes me squirm. Time to lighten the mood. So, you into any kinky stuff, big guy? Handcuffs and whips excite you? I give him my best sultry look. Zeb blinks rapidly like he has something in his eye.
No. I'm not into anything like that. Are you?
I ignore his question. No problem. I can play nice too. I reach across the table and trail a finger down his chest. Tell me how you want me, Zebby. I aim to please. Before he can react, I crawl under the table, positioning myself between his legs. I rub my hands up his muscular thighs. I could show you how talented this mouth is. I'm about to unzip his pants when Zeb pushes back from the table, standing abruptly.
You should rest more. I'll take care of the dishes.
He starts stacking plates so fast you'd think the kitchen was on fire. I slide back into my chair, feeling strangely rejected. Usually, guys are all too eager to take me up on sexual offers. Zeb's repeated brush-offs are throwing me for a loop. What the hell does this guy want from me?
Chapter 8. I want to fuck her. I do. Of course I do. I know without a shadow of a doubt we're meant to be together. I just want to learn more about her first. It's my job to care for her. Maybe I need to find a way to smash through the walls she's built around herself. Maybe if I show her more about myself, she'll open up to me. After I tidy up, I find her sitting out on the back porch staring out at the view of the pine-dotted California mountains. I'm heading to work. Would you like to join me? I ask. I could probably get Tavion or Asa to cover for me tonight, but this might be a good opportunity to show her more about my life. I run the Timbercrest Tavern. Either you can sit and hang out at the bar, or you can help if you want. I can always use an extra set of hands. Truthfully, the thought of being parted from her, even for a few hours, fills me with unease. My inner wolf howls at the notion. He's only just found our mate. He can't bear to let her out of our sight so soon. She gives a non-committal shrug and mutters,
I guess.
Well, it's not exactly an enthusiastic yes, but it's something. As we amble down the road together, Genie's head swivels, taking in all the sights of our little community. I'll give you a grand tour of the village tomorrow, I say. Most of the pack shows up to the tavern on Saturday nights, so you'll meet everyone tonight. When we reach the tavern, a cozy log cabin structure I built from scratch, her eyes widen.
This whole place is yours?
Yep. The whole thing. As I usher her inside, I beam with pride that she seems impressed. Her eyes light up when I show her the tap for my handcrafted brew and the shelves stocked with beer mugs. When we venture downstairs to check out my brewing setup, she asks,
So you're the one who makes all the hooch for this whole town?
I nod, patting one of my beloved copper kettles. Yup. I take pride in my craft. Some might say I infuse it with a bit of hocus pocus.
You're like a beer wizard.
Genie teases and tilts her head thoughtfully. My inner wolf basks in the compliment. If you want, I'll show you all the tricks of the brewer's craft, I say eagerly. She looks away, her smile falling. A second ago, her eyes were alight with interest. Now she doesn't exactly appear disinterested. Just sad maybe. Back upstairs, I demonstrate how to properly pour a pint, holding the glass at an angle under the tap to get just the right amount of foam. Genie copies me, tongue poking out adorably in concentration. Once she's got it down, I have her help me carry some practice pints over to the bar just to test out her serving skills. You're a natural, I tell her, not even joking. Again, her smile falls.
Don't get your hopes up. I'll fuck things up before the end of the night.
What the hell? What makes her say that? Why is she so down on herself? Genie, it's okay if you make mistakes. It's expected. You've never done it before. But if you really don't want to help out, that's fine. I'm just happy you're here tonight. She looks at me, as though I've just grown another head.
You know, you're really different from most guys.
She lets out a humorless laugh.
Not that I know many guys, except my Johns.
I furrow my brow in confusion. Johns? Who the fuck is John and how many does she know?
Yeah, my customers.
She clarifies matter-of-factly. Sensing my befuddlement, Genie explains.
John's. The guys who pay me for.
She makes an obscene hand gesture. When I stare at her, she lets out a long sigh.
I'm a hooker. A prostitute.
Oh. Understanding crashes over me. She had sex for money before coming here. I see, I say carefully. And these Johns, they didn't treat you well? Genie snorts.
Generally speaking, guys who pick up hookers aren't looking for meaningful conversation. They just want to get their rocks off.
She shrugs.
Most weren't too bad. I got knocked around occasionally, but not often.
Knocked around? I feel my jaw clench. The thought of men using her and tossing her aside, or worse, hurting her, makes my blood boil. She deserves so much better. My fingers ball into fists. Noticing my reaction, Genie tenses, crossing her arms tightly over her chest. Her brows are furrowed, creating a deep crease in her forehead.
Are you judging me for how I make a living? Because you don't know what it's like for me. A girl's gotta eat, I do what I have to do to survive.
What? Judging? No, I would never. I start to protest, but she cuts me off.
Not all of us can be successful tavern owners.
She glowers down at the floor.
I tried to do other work. I had a waitressing job once. But I got fired because I kept messing up orders. I didn't do very good in school, like with reading or writing.
Her eyes are full of fire when she looks up at me.
It's not so easy to make it in the world when you're a dummy. Especially when no one cares if you live or die.
My heart cracks wide open hearing about her painful past. You listen to me. You are absolutely not dumb. I take her hands in mine. She tries to pull away, but I won't let her. What do you mean, no one cares if you live or die?
I don't have anybody. Like no family or nothing. I grew up in the system.
She refuses to meet my earnest gaze.
Anyway, when I got tossed out on my ass at 18 with nowhere to go, I did what I had to. A warm body and a tight, that's all I have. The only assets I can leverage.
Anger wells up inside me, anger at the whole damn world for failing my mate time and again. She glances up and misreads my fury.
You're such a dick to be angry at me.
She stamps her foot.
I do what I have to do to survive.
She spits out heatedly. Hey, I soothe, cradling her face to make her look at me. I do not judge you at all for the choices life forced you into. Not even a little. I stroke my thumb over her cheek. I'm angry because the world was so cruel and unfair to you, but mostly I'm angry that I wasn't there to protect you. Genie searches my face for any hint of deception but finds none. Her expression gradually softens.
You really don't look down on me for being a hooker?
She asks in a small voice. Never, I vow fiercely. I'm very proud of you for doing the best you could with the hand you were dealt. I admire your strength and resilience. I kiss her forehead tenderly, wishing I could take away all the hurt she's endured. She deserves so much happiness.
Then what's your deal?
An awkward silence stretches between us while I try to figure out what she means. My deal.
Are you sure you even want me here?
She shrugs her shoulders exasperatedly.
Because you sure don't seem too attracted to me.
Of course I'm attracted to you. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. I'm more than attracted to you. I trail off, raking a hand through my hair. I'm worried about your illness.
My what? What illness?
And then it must register because she starts laughing.
Look, there's been a little misunderstanding here. I don't have that multiple personality disorder thing. I was trying to role play.
Role play?
Yeah, take on a persona. Like an actress. To spice up the sex.
My forehead creases. Spice up the sex. Why in the world would she think she needs to do that?
I promise I have no DID or whatever it's called. I had to go through a bunch of medical and psychological screenings before I got the final green light to be in this program. I'm clean, physically and mentally. Promise.
I smile, relieved my mate is healthy and not afflicted with a trying disorder. I'm glad.
So,
She continues with a wide smile.
it would be helpful if you just told me, who do you want me to be?
I stare at Genie, dumbfounded for a moment. You, I blurt. I want you to be you.
Chapter 9.
You. I want you to be you.
The big softy says. I can't help it. My eyes fill with tears. Shit. Fuck. What is this guy doing to me? No one's been able to make me cry since I was 8. This has to stop. This is a job. Nothing more. He catches me off guard when he closes the distance between us, leans down, and captures my lips in a searing kiss. I find myself melting into him, parting my lips to grant his tongue access. His big hands come up to frame my face as the kiss deepens, and I feel that now familiar sizzle of electricity coursing through me everywhere, every time our bodies touch. When Zeb finally breaks the kiss, we're both panting. He rests his forehead against mine.
I'm sorry if I ever made you feel unwanted.
He says gruffly.
You have no idea how much I want you, Genie. How hard it is for me to hold back.
To emphasize his point, he presses his bulge against me, letting me feel the rigid length of him through our clothes. I can't hold back a whimper. He is ginormous. Then stop holding back, I whisper seductively, adopting my wanton sex goddess persona. A low rumble sounds in Zeb's chest. Keeping his smoldering gaze locked with mine, he sinks to his knees before me. Deft fingers make quick work of the button and zipper on my jeans, and he eases them down my legs along with my panties.
Step out.
He instructs. I comply, jutting my chest forward and batting my lashes, but he doesn't seem to notice that. Zeb nudges my thighs apart and angles me back against the bar for support. Then he dives in without preamble, sealing his mouth over my aching core. Oh God! I cry out at the first silken swipe of his tongue parting my folds. Zeb lets out a hungry groan, the vibration sending delicious tremors through my rapidly dampening sex. He licks broad strokes along my pussy before zeroing in on my clit, fluttering his tongue over and around the rigid little bud. My fingers thread through his hair, fisting the thick locks as I shamelessly ride his face. I've never felt anything like this before. The guys who paid me for sex barely bothered with foreplay, never mind getting me off. But Zeb is relentless, lapping and sucking my clit as he works first one thick finger, then two, in and out of my entrance. All attempts to distance myself, to play a part, and to keep an invisible barrier between us are failing me. I'm practically sobbing with need, overwhelmed by the blinding pleasure he's wringing from my body. Zeb, please, I gasp mindlessly. I need. I'm not even sure what I'm pleading for. All I know is I've never ached like this before, like I'll shatter if I don't find release soon. Sensing how close I am, Zeb doubles his efforts, pistoning his fingers while he sucks my clit hard. The dam breaks. I shatter on a wailing cry of Zeb's name, ecstasy crashing over me in relentless waves. My knees buckle, but Zeb's strong arm around my hips holds me upright while he continues lapping up every ounce of my slick arousal. Just when I think I can't take any more, he gently withdraws his fingers and stands. With infinite care, he redresses me, then scoops my limp, trembling form into his arms. Still reeling from the most intense high of my life, I nuzzle into his neck, inhaling his spicy, masculine scent. Wow, I breathe. That was unbelievable. Now it's my turn to reciprocate.
No.
Zeb's voice is stern, but his eyes are warm as they bore into me.
That was all for you.
He kisses my forehead.
We have plenty of time later. Right now, I just needed to show you how much I want you.
Chapter 10. I balance a heavy tray loaded with frothy mugs as I zigzag between crowded tables. This is actually kind of fun, and I haven't screwed up at all. Yet. They don't use money here. In fact, Timbercrest Village is more of a hippie commune-type setup from what I can tell. And the only beverages on tap are Zeb's craft beers and water, so I don't have to worry about mixing fancy cocktails or remembering a million microbrew names. Which makes it really hard to fuck up, even for me. And the people, or werewolves, whatever, are really nice. A large, bearded guy grins up at me.
I gotta say, it's far more pleasant to be served by you than Zeb.
Zeb must hear that comment because a loud, menacing growl echoes through the place, coming from the general direction of the bar. Is Zeb jealous? A strange fluttering starts up in my belly at the thought. No one's ever been jealous over me before. I set a fresh beer in front of the guy. After that, a table of guys seems to want to tease Zeb because they get a little flirtatious. Not obnoxious or threatening or anything, just playful. One pats the top of my head as I turn to leave. Zeb growls again, and I love his protectiveness, but I don't like making Zeb feel bad, so I tell the guy myself, hands off the merchandise, buddy. Unless you want a knee to the ballsack. They all chuckle, even Zeb. One of the guys says,
Feisty. I see why Zeb's smitten.
As I work the room, the wolf shifters keep congratulating me about the fertility ceremony and telling me I have great birthing hips. Damn. Some people have no filter. I just kind of smile and nod, even though Zeb and I didn't actually seal the deal yet. I wonder if they... Zeb said the shifters would be able to smell when he went down on me before, that the scent would be in the air, so I sprayed a whole can of air freshener, opened all the windows, and turned on a fan to air the place out. I don't know why I did that. It isn't as though it's a secret what I'm here for. And I'm not shy when it comes to sex. It's just... I don't know. It was different. Personal. He gave me the mother of all orgasms and didn't let me reciprocate. No one's ever done that. I mean, I faked it tons of times. Sometimes men are clueless. You moan a little. Do a Meg Ryan in When Harry Met Sally, and they think they're the greatest Casanovas ever. It never occurs to them that a few rough jabs and pokes and a few quick pumps don't cut it. I wasn't faking with Zeb. Not even close. Anywho, I can't figure out his game. He's supposed to get me pregnant. My pleasure shouldn't enter the equation. It's not in the contract. What can I get you tonight? I flash a grin at the 3 customers who just sat down at a table in the corner. Let me guess, craft beers all around? It's the first time I've seen another chick here around my age. I didn't think there were any. At intake for the BFB program, it was explained that women were rare around here. But this woman is definitely around my age, and she's with a great big guy, like really big, and another woman who looks just like her, only about 20 years older.
Hi, Genie.
The younger woman says,
I've been dying to meet you. I'm Marla. This is my mom, April, and my mate, Asa.
Hello, everyone. Marla smiles brightly.
So, do you think Zeb would let you out of his sight for an hour or two tomorrow? I'd love it if you could come to my place for coffee and some morning chit-chat. We can get to know each other.
I don't know why she'd want to get to know me. It's not as though this gig is permanent. I'm only here temporarily. Although it could be almost an entire year if I do actually get pregnant, so I suppose it would be nice to have someone else to talk to. Sure. I shrug. Sounds good.
Great.
She claps her hands together, then winks.
I can't wait to fill you in on all the local gossip.
Chapter 11. After the last customer stumbles out into the night, I bolt the door and turn to Genie with a satisfied sigh. Well, that was a productive evening. You were incredible. Genie waves off my gratitude as she wipes down the bar.
It was nothing. I enjoyed it actually.
Genie, you're a natural, I say sincerely. Watching her work the patrons with ease tonight made my inner wolf stand tall with pride at having such a capable mate. Genie gives me a small smile at the compliment before her gaze drifts to the door.
Why doesn't your door have a lock? Don't you guys worry about break-ins and stuff around here?
Nope, I say, gathering empty mugs. There's no crime here. She shakes her head in wonderment.
If you leave the door wide open all night, everything will still be here in the morning?
Yup. We look out for each other in the pack. No need to lock anything up.
Man, LA is nothing like this.
Genie says wistfully.
You couldn't leave a crucifix on your front porch without it getting swiped.
You must have lived in constant fear, I say, troubled by this revelation.
Fear. Hunger. Danger.
Genie ticks them off on her fingers.
That pretty much sums up my daily life since the day I was born.
She says it so matter-of-factly, as though it's normal. Thinking of all the struggles she's endured feels like a dagger to the heart. I come up behind her, wrapping my arms around her waist and nuzzling into her hair. You don't ever have to worry about any of that here, I rumble softly. You're safe now. I'll make sure of it. Genie relaxes back into my embrace. We stand like that in comfortable silence for several heartbeats. Then she turns in my arms, eyes glinting curiously.
Can I ask you something?
At my nod, she continues.
Will you show me your wolf?
I blink in surprise. Really? You want me to shift for you?
If you don't mind.
She bites her lip uncertainly.
I've just never seen anything like it outside of movies, and I don't even know if they got it right. I'm kind of fascinated.
My wolf is anxious to fulfill her request. Flattered that our mate is eager to see our primal form. Let's go outside for this. I take her hand and lead her out the back door. Outside behind the tavern, I strip down. You ready? At Genie's eager nod, I transform. Fur ripples over my skin as bones reshape themselves. Within seconds, I stand before her in full fur. Genie's eyes widen.
Holy crap, you're huge.
I can't help but stand taller when she says that. I prance in a circle, showing off my muscular physique and thick silky coat before coming to stand before her. I'm easily able to look her right in the eyes. Tentatively, she reaches out to stroke my fur.
Wow. I can't believe werewolves are real. You're beautiful like this.
My tail wags happily at her praise. Unable to resist showing off a bit more, I crouch down and jerk my head in a hop-on gesture. When she still hesitates, I give her my most pitiful puppy dog eyes. That does the trick. Laughing, she carefully climbs onto my back. I take off at an easy lope, letting her get used to the feel. Soon her delighted laughter rings out as she clutches my fur to hold on.
Faster,
she urges. Needing no further encouragement, I put on a burst of speed, bounding through the moonlit woods with my precious cargo holding tightly to my fur. Eventually, I bring her to my back porch before shifting again to human form. As I stand before Genie completely naked, her hungry gaze sweeps over me appreciatively.
Gotta say, riding on the back of a wolf through the woods at night was hands down the coolest thing I've ever done.
Her smile is beaming. Then her eyes travel down to my junk.
And watching you transform, shift, whatever, was kind of a turn-on.
Before I can reply, she stands up on her toes, pressing her body against me and her lips to mine. Groaning, I kiss her eagerly, our libidos both running high after the exhilarating run. Our passionate kiss escalates rapidly, hands roaming eagerly over heated flesh. Illuminated by moonlight, I feel primal hunger overtake me, the need to fuck my mate. All rational thought flees my mind as instinct and desire take over. I want to take Genie fully here under the stars. To mark her irrefutably as my mate in the most primal way. Scooping her up, I carry her deeper into the woods where we will be shielded from any prying eyes. I know just the place, and I lay her down on a soft bed of moss beside a gurgling creek. I stretch out above Genie, caging her with my powerful body and capturing her mouth, our tongues tangling intimately. Breaking the kiss to nip and suck my way down her elegant neck, I growl my approval when Genie arches up wantonly against me.
Please, Zeb.
She gasps, writhing beneath me.
I really need you.
Chapter 12. Genie's breathless plea sends a hot spike of lust through my veins. But I force myself to slow down, determined to savor this precious gift of my mate's body. I pull her t-shirt over her head and, starting at her delicate collarbone, blaze a trail of open-mouthed kisses down between the valley of Genie's breasts. With a snap of the fingers, I have her bra unclasped and I palm her supple mounds reverently, thumbs teasing her taut nipples into stiff peaks. Genie whimpers, her fingers diving into my hair to pull me close as I lavish attention on her sensitive nipples. I could spend hours worshipping her gorgeous curves, but the scent of her arousal drives me lower. I trail wet, sucking kisses down the rounded mound of her stomach, nipping at her hip bones, before settling between her splayed thighs. Genie tenses for a fleeting moment when I nudge her legs further apart. I meet her eyes. "You are the most exquisite thing I've ever laid eyes on," I tell her. I mean every word. Dipping my head lower, I swipe my tongue through her slick folds. Genie's eyes slam shut, back arching sharply off the moss. I settle in to feast on her dripping sex, licking and sucking with a single-minded focus, her pleasure. Her fingers twist almost painfully in my hair, and Genie shamelessly grinds against my mouth, chasing her peak. The sounds spilling from her kiss-swollen lips are the sweetest music to my ears. When her thighs begin trembling on either side of my head, I slide 2 thick fingers into her tight channel, crooking them just so. Genie shatters on a wailing cry, her orgasm crashing over her in waves as she gushes into my waiting mouth. I continue lapping up her release until the last quivers subside, before surging up to smash our mouths together in a carnal kiss. Genie gets a taste of herself on my tongue as we kiss fervently. She reaches between our bodies, grasping my thick, rock-hard cock and positioning it at her slick entrance in silent invitation. Breaking the kiss, I search her face for any lingering hesitation. But all I find is naked yearning shining in the depths of her eyes. Holding her gaze, I push inside her welcoming body inch by glorious inch. I have to pause halfway, jaw clenched with restraint, overwhelmed by the exquisite velvet heat engulfing me. Beneath me, Genie lets out a low, keening moan as she adjusts to the thick stretch of my cock spearing her open. When I am fully seated, our hips flush, I frame Genie's face in my big hands. "Mine," I rasp, barely recognizing my own wrecked voice. Genie holds my fervent stare. The primal claim strikes a chord deep within my psyche. Gathering her close, I begin moving, withdrawing my thick length only to drive back in deeply. Genie clings to me, gasps and cries harmonizing with the wet sound of our joining. I quickly build to a relentless rhythm, unable to hold back. I know I should take it slow, be gentle with my fragile human mate. But instinct is screaming at me to thoroughly claim and mark her. To eradicate any lingering trace of all other males before me, so that she is now irrefutably mine. Sensing my struggle for control, Genie cups my jaw tenderly.
It's okay.
She pants.
You don't have to hold back. I'm not made of glass. Take what you need from me.
Her quiet permission undoes the last tattered remains of my restraint. With a feral groan, I hitch her thighs around my waist and drive into her with wild abandon. Genie clings to me, gasping and crying out as I pound into her receptive body with bruising force. Far from being frightened or pained, Genie seems to relish this unleashed primal side of me. The ferocity of my claiming only ratchets her desire higher. She rakes her nails down my muscular back, making me shudder against her.
Oh God,
she moans, spurring me on. Her breathy demand ignites an inferno inside me. Gripping Genie's hips, I drive into her slick heat. She meets each savage thrust. I can hear her breathing growing more ragged. Her climax is building again. She's close now. I reach down to strum her swollen clit. Genie screams as she comes apart for the second time. Her velvety walls clamping down on me finally push me over the edge, and I empty myself inside her still spasming channel. With a groan, I collapse atop Genie, keeping most of my crushing weight on my elbows. We remain joined as our thundering hearts gradually calm and our breathing evens out. I nuzzle into my mate's tangled hair, inhaling her rich scent now laced with mine. "Are you all right?" I ask gruffly, a pang of worry piercing my sated haze. Genie stretches beneath me like a contented cat.
"I'm perfect,"
she sighs dreamily. Relieved, I carefully withdraw from her before gathering her into my arms. We share soft, languid kisses as our intertwined bodies gradually cool. A feeling of rightness settles over me, bone-deep satisfaction thrumming through me. This was better than I ever dreamt it could be. Propped up on one elbow, I trail reverent fingers over the silky skin of Genie's arm. "I didn't hurt you, did I?" Genie shakes her head, a dreamy smile playing on her swollen lips.
"You were perfect. That was..."
She sighs blissfully.
I don't even have the words. I never knew it could feel like that.
My chest swells with male pride at satisfying my woman so thoroughly. I feel that the walls she uses to guard herself and keep others out have started to crumble, but not completely. Not yet. And I don't want to scare her. So instead of saying it aloud, I use reverent kisses and caresses to tell her that I love her. I hope I am conveying without words what my heart yearns to confess, that I am hopelessly and eternally hers.
Chapter 13. Wow, this is some serious gourmet stuff. I take another sip of the coffee Marla served me, something deep and robust that tastes like liquid autumn, apples, cinnamon, and a hint of pumpkin spice. No complaints here. And the mug is adorable. I hold up the cute coffee mug with paw prints on it.
Right?
Marla giggles.
My mom is working on opening a pottery and ceramics studio here. Right now, she's perfecting designs. Hey, maybe once she has her grand opening, you and I can go to some ceramics classes together.
I nod and take another sip. Sure, I say as non-committally as possible. She doesn't seem to understand I may not be here very long.
So,
Marla eyes me with a shit-eating grin.
You and Zeb seem to be getting along very well.
I don't know what you're talking about. I try to look innocent. Marla leans back in her chair.
Oh please, even the trees heard you two last night.
The sip of coffee I just took almost shoots out of my nose. They heard. Wait, what did they hear? She wiggles her eyebrows.
We shifters have great hearing and well, let's just say your fun echoed through the forest.
Oh God, I've become a community bulletin board. As I shrug off the hint of embarrassment, something catches my eye. A jagged scar on Marla's neck. Like the ones I noticed on Ida and Susan. What did they call it? Something about fated mates. I can't help but stare. Is that a... My voice trails off, not sure if it's polite to bring up.
My claiming mark.
Marla finishes the sentence for me.
It's a mate claim. I'm a shifter too, so my mate wears mine as well.
I feel my cheeks heat for some reason. Does it come with a lifetime warranty? Marla laughs, a full-bodied laugh that makes her eyes squint.
It absolutely does. As well as a lifetime of love, adventure, and the occasional furball on the carpet. Why do you ask?
I take a deep breath, feeling my walls rebuild themselves. I've spent years building barriers around my emotions, but ever since I arrived here, they've been threatening to topple like a dollar store Jenga tower. Because of Zeb. Is it true what they say? About fated mates? I ask. That the moment you meet, you just know. Marla's eyes soften.
For the wolf, yes. The human side usually takes a bit more convincing. I have to admit, I struggled with the concept at first. But I didn't know I was a wolf, and I spent years hating shifters.
Hating shifters? Why? Everyone here is so nice. I don't know how anyone can hate them.
Well, I guess I blame them for all the pain in my life, for growing up without my mother. But that's a story for another time.
She rubs her scar absently. I get not wanting to relive the bad parts of your past. So, this fated mate thing, What if two people are fated mates but they don't know it? Or they're not sure? Does that happen?
Genie,
Marla says gently.
if a shifter finds their fated mate, they know. And if it's a human, the shifter will do everything to make sure their human mate knows too.
The weight of that statement hangs in the air. I felt like something was different last night. The way Zeb looked at me, the way he fucked me was so intense. It was like making love. I think. I don't really know what making love feels like, but I can't imagine it feels any different than Zeb and I last night. But what if he has a fated mate out there? And what if she shows up here? My mind races. What if I get pregnant and give birth to a baby? Or a pup, whatever. A pup that's part Zeb and part me. Then some fated mate woman comes in and steals Zeb's heart and loyalty, and I'm out in the cold? 2 days ago, I wouldn't have cared less. Right now, the thought is so vile, I can feel my autumn-flavored coffee sloshing around in my gut, threatening to make a reappearance. My protective walls are strengthening and fortifying. My hands clench the paw print mug as my stomach does somersaults. As if sensing my plummeting mood, Marla asks,
What's wrong?
I was just, thinking. I can't tell her I changed my mind. Like right this very minute, I changed my mind. I won't be Zeb's baby pup mama surrogate breeder bitch. I'm not doing it. I swallow hard and plaster a smile on my face. So, I arrived here by helicopter because I was told this place doesn't have roads in or out. Marla nods.
That's right. We're surrounded by miles of rugged wilderness.
How do you manage to get groceries in or other supplies?
We have Tavion for that. He's a bush pilot. He flies people in and out if need be, as well as going on supply runs.
Good to know. I store that information in the Plan Your Escape folder in my brain. My smile doesn't reach my eyes. After another half hour of conversation and an awkward hug, I head out. But I don't return to Zeb's cabin. I've got a bush pilot to find.
Chapter 14. The blood drains from my face. What are you saying? Tell me what the fuck you're saying. Marla is wringing her hands and Asa is standing tall and bracing himself in a fighter stance, poised to hold me back should I don't know what. Start tearing shit apart.
Brother, she got spooked. We'll find her and talk to her, but in the end, you need to respect her choice.
Respect her choice? Respect her fucking choice? Oh, that's Rich from the thug who tossed his mate over his shoulder, tied her to a bed and slapped duct tape over her mouth. Marla shrugs.
He's got a point.
My vision blurs red. The room spins. Last I knew she was having coffee with you, Marla. What the hell did you say to her? Asa lunges in front of Marla, his face inches from mine.
Back off, Zeb. Don't even think about blaming this on my mate.
Marla gently pushes Asa aside.
Don't worry, babe. Zeb's not going to hurt me.
I'm going to eviscerate Tavion, though. The fucking traitor.
Maybe you should look in the mirror.
Marla clenches her jaw. What's that supposed to mean? I yell. A low growl erupts from Asa's throat. Marla pats his arm soothingly before she continues.
Just that you could have done your part, and told Genie she's your fated mate.
I was getting to it. She's not exactly a touchy-feely welcome mat when it comes to deep emotions. She's more like a sealed vault. Marla crosses her arms over her chest.
Well, what do you think was going through her head? She was probably picturing you and some other woman, your fated mate, parenting your future pup. How do you think that felt to her?
The air leaves my lungs. A crushing weight presses on my chest as if the gravity in the room has increased tenfold. Asa grips my shoulder with a vice-like hold.
Whoa, brother, calm down.
Tavion's still a dead man, I snarl. Marla steps forward.
If you go after Tavion, you're missing the point.
The point? The point is my mate is on a plane flying away from me. I rip my shoulder out of Asa's grip, feeling like a volcano on the brink of eruption. I stomp toward the door, my veins boiling with rage and helplessness.
Where are you going?
Asa calls after me. I yank the door open, each creak of its hinges grating against my frayed nerves. Where do you think? The fucking airstrip. I slam the door behind me with enough force to rattle the windows. Forget the fabled calm before the storm. I am the storm, a whirlwind of fury and heartbreak. Marla's words, like barbed arrows, still linger, and they sunk deep. As I stalk through the twilight toward the airstrip, my fists clenched, my knuckles white, and my heart bleeding, I know that Marla's right. The real enemy isn't Tavion, it's me. I messed up. I should have told her everything. I'll fix this. I will find my mate, if I have to search every avenue, boulevard, and alleyway in the city of Los Angeles. I'm coming for you, Genie. I'm coming to bring you home.
What kind of a plane is this? I ask Tavion over the aviation comm device. He glances over at me briefly.
It's a Cessna 172.
I'm well on my way to a nervous breakdown right about now, and it's got nothing to do with Tavion's piloting skills. Nope. The farther away from Timbercrest village we get, the more it feels as though the air's being sucked out of my lungs. I try to calm myself by focusing on the soft buzz in my headphones. Tavion breaks the silence, his voice tinged with solemnity.
You do realize that by leaving, you're condemning Zeb to a lifetime of melancholy, sorrow, and depression, right?
Dramatic, much? He shakes his head.
Not at all. The guy will pine for you until he dies.
Tavion clearly watches too many telenovelas. I squint at the dashboard. Pine. Seriously? Tavion shoots me a sideways glance with an expression that looks as serious as a heart attack.
This isn't a joke, Genie. You're his fated mate. The entire pack knows it.
My eyes nearly roll out of their sockets, but his words hurt. Fated mate? No. I'm not. Damn those emotional armor walls. They always protected me before.
You're not taking this seriously.
He continues, concern spreading across his features.
I'm his best friend. I know Zeb. We've been best friends since we were pups. You are his fated mate.
I close my eyes for a moment, attempting to drown out my thoughts with the drone of the engine. Is that true? No. He would have told me if he...
Look, I don't know why he didn't tell you. Maybe he was waiting for. I don't know really. But the guy could not take his eyes off of you all night when you were working at the tavern.
It's not that I don't believe Tavion, not exactly, but I cling to my skepticism. So, you're telling me that the whole pack knows I'm Zeb's fated mate, but Zeb thought it'd be better to keep me in the dark.
I can't tell you why. That's something you'll have to ask him. But why do you think Zeb challenged the Alpha for you? Did you see that guy? He could grind any of us into wolf kibble.
He's got a point. Zeb did challenge that huge, Hulk-like guy who could probably turn him into a smoothie blend. Suddenly, I'm less skeptical and more contemplative. Which is a nicer way of saying, beginning to freak out. A sigh resonates through my headphones.
Genie, I'm not spinning tales here. Whether you believe it or not, Zeb's life is intertwined with yours. And I'm not just saying that because it sounds poetic.
I glance out the window, noting that the forest below looks oddly familiar. Fine. I get it. Turn the plane around. Tavion chuckles.
Turn around? Why would I do that?
Because you've just convinced me that I've made the biggest mistake of my life by running away from Zeb. And if you don't turn around, I swear I'll throw a massive in-flight tantrum. Tavion lets out a rich laugh.
Zeb's probably losing his mind right now.
Turn the plane around. I'm serious. I scowl. How long do you think before we can be back at Timbercrest village? Tavion just smiles.
We've been circling the village the whole time, so a few minutes.
My jaw drops. That manipulative.
What?
He grins.
I had a hunch I could make you come to your senses.
I smile despite myself. As the plane starts its descent, my stomach does somersaults, and when the tires touch down with a jolt, I unbuckle my seatbelt, ready to leap out the moment the plane comes to a stop. I pull off my headphones and step out of the plane, wondering what words I should use to talk to Zeb, but I needn't bother. Zeb is sprinting across the airfield like he can't believe his eyes. When he reaches me, he grabs me so tight I have to slap his shoulder to tap out. The whole time he keeps chanting the same words over and over.
My mate, my mate, my mate.
Epilogue. 1 year later.
Genie, don't you think you should sit down and take a break right now?
Zeb asks for the 15th time in the last hour. I wink at him while topping off a mug of draft beer. Honey, I'm a multitasking goddess. I can pour a brew, make small talk, and gestate all at the same time. A triple threat, if you will. He snorts but can't hide his grin.
Just say the word, and I'll carry you into the back and give you a foot rub.
I roll my eyes, but I can't lie, that does sound great. I'm about to tell him so, when a sharp pain radiates through my belly, causing me to almost drop the beer mug. The grin on my face must have fallen, because Zeb's eyes widen as he registers my change in expression.
Genie? Are you okay?
I manage a feeble nod between clenched teeth. Yeah, just a small. Ouch. Nope. Not small.
Genie?
Zeb's voice turns from playful to borderline panicked.
Was that?
Yep, I gasp, clutching my belly. I think the opening act is about to begin. Like a superhero, my mate leaps over the bar and scoops me into his arms faster than you can say Lamaze.
Baby's coming.
He shouts, the pitch of his voice hitting somewhere between exhilaration and sheer terror as he bolts for the door. While I cling to him, the patrons of the tavern cheer, a mix of whoops and applause. Some even take it as a cue to start chugging their drinks. But Zeb doesn't notice any of it. He's laser-focused on getting me to the midwife. Zeb's face is the picture of terror, and it's not helping my labor jitters. Zeb, breathe for heaven's sake. You're making me nervous. He skids to a halt in front of the midwife's door, almost dropping me in his fluster.
How can I not be nervous? I'm about to be a dad.
I pat his cheek. And you'll be amazing. The words are no sooner out of my mouth when I feel another contraction, and I grip his shirt for dear life. God, they're coming really fast. The midwife, whose name is Constance, must have heard us coming because the door swings open and the stout woman with a competent glint in her eyes ushers us inside. Zeb, in all his panicked glory, nearly barrels over her.
Put her down here,
She instructs, pointing to a bed.
and try not to faint.
After an eternity, an endless series of deep breaths, and some creative swearing on my part, I hear the most beautiful sound in the world, the cry of our baby. The midwife places a tiny, squirming bundle into Zeb's massive arms, and the look on his face is indescribable. I swear, the man's aura changes colors or something. He's glowing like a freaking Christmas tree, holding our daughter like she's the most precious gem on earth, which to us she is.
Our daughter.
He whispers, his voice cracking with emotion. Before I can fully appreciate the moment, I feel another rush of pain. What the? Constance's eyes widen slightly.
I think there's a sequel to this act,
She says. Zeb looks at me, then at Constance, then back at me.
What?
It's another round of pushing, swearing, and Zeb nearly passing out. When it's over, we're the proud parents of not one, but two beautiful baby girls. Constance laughs softly, placing the second baby on my chest. Outside, we can hear the impatient murmurs of the pack, waiting for news.
May I?
Constance asks, and I nod. She throws open the window, her face breaking into a smile.
Two beautiful girls,
She announces. A raucous cheer erupts, echoing through the village. Our daughters are already loved by everyone, and they're only a few minutes old. Zeb sits beside me, each of us holding one of our daughters. We really had no idea we were having twins.
They're perfect.
Zeb whispers. I look at Zeb and our little miracles, my voice tinged with conviction. They'll never have to go through what I did growing up, the insecurity, the fear, the loneliness. Zeb leans over, gently kissing my forehead and then each of our daughters.
Never.
You up for the challenge of having 3 females in the house? He grins.
Bring it on.
And then his face grows serious, and Zeb looks at me with fierce determination.
I swear, Genie. They'll always be surrounded by love. I'll protect and care for all 3 of you forever.
I smile, tears glistening in my eyes. Good, I tease. Because I was thinking of putting them to work at the tavern when they turn 6. They should earn their keep. Zeb chuckles.
I love you, Genie.
I love you too. Our little family of 4, tucked away from the world, embraced by the love of our pack. As beginnings go, this is the best one I could have asked for.
We hope you have enjoyed this computer-generated audio production of Wolf's Jailbird by Candace Ayers and Kim Dillon. The next book in this series is Wolf's Prize.